Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Summary lecture by Lisa M. Kendrick. This novel begins with a series of letters from the explorer Robert Walton to his sister Margaret Saville. Walton is a well to do Englishman who is fascinated with seafaring, and he wants to be one of the first to make it to the North Pole on a voyage. In letter 2, he is sad that he has a lack of friends. He feels lonely and isolated. And he's just too sophisticated to find comfort in his shipmates. He finds them uneducated and not sensitive enough for him to share his dreams with. In letter 3, he tells his sister that his ship has finally set sail and that he is fully confident that he is going to achieve his aim and exploration of the North Pole. By letter 4, the ship has been stalled between massive ice sheets. Walton and his men spot a sledge guided by a gigantic creature about half a mile away. The next morning, they see another sled that's stranded on an ice floe. All but one of the dogs drawing that sleigh is dead, and the man on it, not the same man from before, but a regular sized man, is emaciated and starving. Despite this, the man refuses to board the ship until Walton assures him that he is indeed headed further north. In chapter 1, this strange man who is almost frozen on the ice, we learn is Victor Frankenstein, and he begins his story. He starts with giving his family background, and he explains about his father, Alphonse, and his mother, Caroline. Alphonse was Caroline's protector, and when his long-term friend died, then he married his daughter, Caroline. Victor was born soon afterwards. Caroline then eventually adopts more. She adopts Elizabeth, brings her to Geneva, and it is decided at a young age that Elizabeth and Victor will be perfect to marry each other once they are of age. In chapters 2 and 3, Victor recounts how at the age of 17, he leaves his family in Geneva and he attends the university at Ingolstadt. Just before he leaves, however, his mother caught scarlet fever from Elizabeth, who she had been nursing back to health, and his mother dies. On her deathbed, she again, reiterates that they should marry. But Victor is really torn up with grieving, and he wants to get his university time done, and so he leaves to go on to Ingolstadt to begin his university studies. By chapter 4, a lot about Victor's personality becomes obvious. He studies enthusiastically, but he becomes obsessed. It's clear that maybe he suffers from a level of addiction to something. In this case, it becomes knowledge. He ignores his social life, he ignores his family, and he does make rapid progress. However, he has decided to begin the construction of an animate creation, envisioning some creature who is a new race and who is wonderful. He is devoted to this above anything else, neglecting everything. Gradually, it is clear that he's becoming physically ill, as well as a little mentally ill, to the level of his obsession. Chapter 5 is that famous scene after months of labor and trolling the charnel houses and cemeteries for body parts. Victor has completed his creation. Unfortunately, when he does use electricity to bring it to life, it terrifies him. He doesn't think it works at first. He wakes up to discover the monster, just over him in the bed. He has this grotesque smile upon his face, and Victor runs as far as he can go. He goes across the town of Ingolstadt, and eventually, sick and ill and confused, he runs across his friend Henry Clerval, who takes him in and brings him back to health. It's almost as if Dr. Frankenstein thinks that by leaving, his monster doesn't exist he can just ignore him away.